Hello children. Here we are going to discuss grade 6 July 2024 past paper. So hope all of you have watched my previous videos time to time. I have released a few videos so to discuss all the past papers time to time when you have the monthly test examinations and the semester examination. So this time I know all of you are getting ready for your July semester examination papers or the exams. So that means your academic year end exam. So then you know the whole thing you learned so far throughout the academic year will be tested. So it is not an easy task for all of you. So you want to recap everything what you learned from last September. So then this is July 2024 paper. And before moving to the paper, I have few instructions to share with you how to deal with this kind of paper discussion sessions. So then when you're watching this, first of all, you just think whether you have done this paper or not. By any chance, when you start watching this video, at that moment, if you have not done the paper, please pause the video or close it and do the paper. Otherwise, no point of watching the video that without trying it by yourself. So you do the paper according to the given time duration. Then you can open the video and you can watch this. While watching, you can mark your answers and you can learn what are the mistakes you have done and what are the additional things you want to do. So all these things can be learned if you have done the paper. If not, so please pause the video or close the video and do it first. Right. So then we will go to the instructions to candidates. And here again that some students, they might think when it is in the exam hall, no need to read the instructions because I have done so many past papers. Every time I came across with the same instructions, no need to read it. So it is a wrong thinking. I want to tell you that every year we don't know who set the paper. You don't know that the different examiners, they might bring different instructions. Therefore, it is wise to read instruction. You just spend maybe 1 minute. It is worth to spend that 1 minute because there can be different instructions. Without knowing that, you just do the paper, keeping the earlier instructions you had with your past papers in your mind and you do it, but it doesn't work. Sometimes they have given you a totally different instructions this time. Therefore, it is wise to read the instructions, spending maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes sometimes. And the other thing, so as the grade 6 students, this is your first year end examination in the middle school. So that's the specialty you are going to have. So then this is the first time you are going to sit for the year end exam in the middle school. So it is different from the primary school examinations. You know, in the primary schools that you had your class teacher, assistant teachers. So then sometimes that if you have doubts, you can ask. But here in the middle school onwards, it is totally different because that you are guided to sit for your final IGCSE or Excel O level or Cambridge O level or National O level, whatever the examination you are planning to take after a few years' time. Right, okay. So without wasting time, we'll move to the paper. I hope all of you have done the paper. So then we will move to the paper one by one. Right, so then here, the first one, that first of all, we want to have an idea, the paper structure. Now you can see here, the part one, you have, let's say how many questions we do have. So then the part one, we have, you just go through the paper when you get the paper like this, right? In the part one, you have, let's see, 18, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, 25 questions you have. Then you have the part two. So then you move and see how many questions you have. In part two, you have 10 questions. So that is the end of the paper. So then now you have an idea. We have two parts. In part one, I have 25 questions to be answered. And in part two, I have 10 questions to be answered. Right. So then here answer all the questions in the spaces provided in this page. That means you are not allowed to use any of the line papers on the exam day, whatever the workings, whatever the answers, everything should be in the spaces provided in this paper itself. Right. So we will move to the first question. Write 0.8 as a fraction in its lowest term. Now here you can see 0.8, we have one decimal place. So then it should be 8 over 10, right? 8 over 10. So then this is 0.8. 8 is in the 10th place. So then the 8 over 10. But here they have given another instruction, another condition. You want to keep this fraction in its lowest term. If you want to keep a fraction in its lowest term, or if you want to simplify something, that means you are making it smaller. To make something smaller, what we are supposed to do, children, we want to divide. Here that we want to divide both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So then what is the number I'm going to select here? So I divide this by 2 and I divide this also by 2. So then my answer will be 4 over 5. Right? So this is the answer. You can show the workings and you can get the answer like this. Then the next one, it's pretty straightforward and very simple. So you just want to multiply negative 4 by times. Negative 4 times 8. So 4 times 8, it is 32. But here that we have two integers. One is a negative one, the other one is a positive one. When you multiply two integers like this with two different signs, what will be your answer? The answer will be a negative answer. So then 4 times 8, 32, but negative 4 times 8, negative 32. Okay. So then we want to find the value of that here. Here it is a printing mistake. It should be A because that is the unknown angle. Now here you can see the two lines are parallel to each other. If you can remember, when you have the parallel lines like this, and if there is a transversal like this, so then you have another line like this, transversal. And we have learned three types of angles. If you can remember the F letter shape corresponding angles, then the Z letter, that is alternate angle. Then we talk about the C type, that we have the interior angles. Now here we have two options, right? We have two options. Either you can use the corresponding angle or you can use the interior angles. But I will tell you which method you are going to use based on the number of marks they have allocated here. It's just a 1 mark question, children. Therefore, no point of going for the interior angle approach because you want to add these two angles together and you want to deduct the given angle by 180 and you have to deal with 2 to 3 steps if you follow the interior angle approach. But if you are going to deal with the corresponding angle, straight away you can write A is equal to 70 degrees. Why? The reason you write inside the bracket corresponding angles, right? You write the reason corresponding angles, right? Corresponding angles. You want to write the reason like this. Okay. A is equal to 70 degrees. And you see always we want to use the degree sign if we are talking about the angle value. So then we'll move to the question number 4. In question number 4, they have mentioned the division. 16 divided by 4, what is the answer? It is 4, right? Because 4 times 4, 16. When you divide 16 by 4, it is 4. But here, again, like earlier question, we don't just have the 16 and 4. We do have negative 16. You want to divide by positive 4. So when you're having two integers like this, one is a negative value and the other one is a positive value. And if you are dealing with the division, so what will be your answer? Always it is a negative answer. So then the negative 8, so 16. If you want that, you can write it like this. This step is not compulsory. Negative 16, you divide by 4. The answer is negative 4. Right? Then the next one, it is from your algebra lesson. You have 4a over 3 divided by 8a over 6b. When you have two fractions like this and you have the division, what is our first step, children? You want to convert the division sign. 4a over 3, division sign into multiplication. Right? Now you don't have the division. Now it is a multiplication. When you convert the sign division into multiplication, the next fraction will take its reciprocal. That means you have 6b over 8a, right? So earlier it was 8a over 6b, but now it is 6b over 8a. Once you convert the division sign into multiplication, the second fraction will take it reciprocal. So what I do, again, this step is not compulsory, but normally I do it like this because it's easier for me to do the simplification, right? So you can see what I'm doing here. So if you can practice like this, so then on the exam day, it's very easier for you. I will use different colors here, but keep that in your mind. You are not allowed to use the different colors other than blue and black. So then you can do it like this, but I'm using the colors to show you the steps I'm doing. Other than that, don't use any other colors on the exam day. So here I can take that 4 times 1 and 4 times 2. That is one simplification I can do. So then I will take the next one, 3 times 1 and 3 times 2. What else I can do? I'll take another color and show that the a times 1 and a times 1. Now we'll see that what remained and do. Can we simplify further? Yes, there is another point to simplify. What it is, I'll take a totally different color. This one, you can see 2 times 1 and 2 times 1. We can simplify like that. 4 times 1, 4 times 2. Then 3 times 1 and 3 times 2, 6. So then 2 and 2 we can simplify. Then we will write our answer. You can see 1 times 1, 1. 1 times 1, 1. 1 times b. And in the denominator, we have 1 times 1. 1 times 1 here. So then the answer should be 1b over 1 means it is just b. Right? It is just b. Yeah, so then it should be the answer B. I just went through that whether I have done the steps correctly. Yes. So then the question number 6. So you have 3.2 multiplied by 0.03. Here, children, you want to understand that when we are multiplying the decimal numbers, right, that we had a separate lesson for decimals. When we were multiplying the decimals, what we did, I'll tell you an easy way to do this. You just take 32, right? You just take 32 and you multiply it by 3. What I did, I just forget about the decimals. I just took the numbers 32 and 3 and I multiplied. What happened? 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 3, 9. 96. Okay. And you can see here that we have one decimal place, right? And that here, how many decimal places we have? Two decimal places we have. So definitely in my answer, there should be three decimal places. How I'm going to keep three decimal places to the answer 96? So it will be 0.096. What I did first, I just multiplied 32 by 3. Then it gives me the answer 3 times 2, 6 and 3 times 3, 9, 96. Then I check the decimal places. The first item they have given, we have one decimal place. The second item, we do have two decimal places. So then the answer should be with three decimal places. So then the 96 I write with three decimal places. Yeah, that is 0.096. Right. So then we will move to the question number 7 here, that you want to find the given B angle. Now you can see something very special in this triangle. All the sides are equal. If all the sides are equal, children, how we name that triangle? What is the special name we do have? It is an equilateral triangle. If all the three sides are equal, it is an equilateral triangle. So then here we have 60 degree, then here we have 60 degree, and here we have 60 degrees. So that is how it appears that if you have a triangle with all the sides are equal, that means simply if it is an equilateral triangle, we know all the angles are also equal. Each angle value should be 60 degrees, right? And you can see here that they have given two lines are parallel to each other. If these two lines are parallel to each other, we'll see whether I can identify any corresponding angle or any interior angle or alternate angle. So then I can see here an alternate angle. If you can see this one, you just see, right? So this is the alternate angle I have. So this angle should be equal to this one. Therefore, I can write my answer. B is equal to 60 degrees, right? The reason is alternate angles, right? Alternate angles. But before that, we want to write that how we got, because they have not given any of the angle values. Straight away, I took it as 60. How I'm going to get this as 60? Because here you can write this is an equilateral triangle, right? Equilateral triangle. All the sides are equal. You can write it like that, right? So here 2 marks question, Nipute. So you just see that they always look at the marks they have allocated. So then we can understand that how many steps we want to write and how we are going to elaborate our answer. We can have an idea. So then the B value should be 60. How I got the B value based on the alternate angle theory. But from where I got this 60, so according to the equilateral triangle theory, if it is an equilateral triangle, all the three angles are equal and each angle is 60 degree, right? So then we will move to the question number 8, 1 over 3. So what does this mean, Pute? 1 divided by 3. So then here, do we have any 3's for 1? No, 0. And I put 0 here. Then I take an imaginary 0. When I take imaginary 0, you know we want to put the decimal. So then 3 times 3, 9. Then 1 remainder. Then again 3 times 3, 9. Again remainder 1, 3, 9, then again 10, 3. Now you can see that 3 is there again and again. So that we call that recurring decimal, right? So how I'm going to write this? 1 over 3 should be equal to 0.333333 recurring, right? But this is not the correct way to show this. There is a special way to show this that we call the dot notation. How I'm going to show this? I write this 0.3 on top of 3 when I put the decimal like this. Everyone knows. So this 3 that where I have put the dot is recurring, repeating, right? 0.3. The recurring. That is how I show that. Some of the textbook they have shown. I have seen that when I'm conducting classes for students who are in USA, Canada. So their textbooks, sometimes they use it like this, right? It's not a dot notation, but they use it like this. The same, the meaning that the 3 is recurring, right? And I'll tell you an additional thing by any chance if they have given 1, 8 and they have mentioned 2 dots like this. What does this mean, children? 0.18, 18, 18, 18. So that means it is repeating, right? Another example, let's say you have 0.63 and you have 2 dots like this. So then 0.63, 63, 63. So it's going on, right? So, but don't think that when you have something like this, so then here, let's say you have 0.217. In that case, we don't keep 3 dots like this, right? You are going to learn all these things when you go to grade 8 class. But I'm just telling you that we don't keep the 3 dots like this. Maximum we can keep only 2 dots. Here that when we have many digits that which are recurring or which are repeating, I keep the dots only the first one and the last one. So then everyone knows what does this mean? 0.217, 217, 217. So that is how it works. No, you don't want to worry these things that much, but I just gave you kind of an extra knowledge for you that if it is the dot notation, this is how you want to keep our final answer. Right. So then we will move to the next question. Give 4,000 cubic centimeters in liters. First of all, we will learn what is the relationship we can see in between cubic centimeters and milliliters. I will show you 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliter. If so, 1,000 cubic centimeters equal to 1,000 milliliters. Okay. If so, 4,000 cubic centimeter is equal to 4,000 milliliters. So this is how you get the relationship, right? 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliter. 1,000 cubic centimeters should be equal to 1,000 milliliters. 4,000 cubic centimeters should be equal to 4,000 milliliters. But they have not asked the answer in milliliters. They have asked the answer in liters. Now it's easier for me. I know 1,000 milliliters equal to what? It is equal to 1 liter. So then 4,000 milliliters equal to 4 liters, right? So then I want to highlight my answer now. So then the answer I should write here that you can use your black color pen if need. You can write here, therefore, 4,000 cubic centimeter is equal to 4 liters. So this is my final answer that you can show it like this because we had to do so many steps and that we have to manage the space now. So then we write, so this is the final answer. If need, you can show it like this with an arrow, right? So these are the tips you can use that when you're managing the space, right? Okay, so then we will move to the next one. You want to find the value. So then we have 9.3 divided by 2. So again, we want to do something that we just forget about this 93 decimals and you just divide. So then 2 times 4, 8, and 1 remainder. You bring this 3 down. So that becomes 13. 2 times 6, 12, and 1 remainder. You take the imaginary 0. That becomes 10. When you keep the imaginary 0 that we want to put the decimal here, then 2 times 5, 10, and that is done. But that you just see, I get the answer Pute 46.5 if I divide by 93 by 2. But here in the question, I don't have 93. Instead, I have 9.3. Therefore, considering that decimal position, I want to keep another decimal. So then my answer will be 4.65. If I divide 93 by 2, yes, my answer should be 46.5. But as I have to divide 9.3, not 93, so then I have to keep one more decimal place. So then that becomes 4.63, right? 4.65, 4.65, sorry. 4.65, right. So then we will move to the next one. Here, I think it should be x. Let's say it has x. So then how I'm going to write this? 4x to the power 2 multiplied by 3 to the power x, right? What I do, children, I take 4 and 3 like this. Then I take x to the power 2 and x. This x I can write as 1. Why? We know x to the power 1, right, is equal to x. A to the power 1 is equal to a. 5 to the power 1 is equal to 5. Any base value to the power 1 will be equal to the base value itself, right? So then here 4 times 3, 12. And we know that when we have x to the power 2 and x to the power 1 like this, what we do, children? We have a special thing to do. That when we have two indices like this, x to the power 2 multiplied by x to the power 1, we know that we can add them 2 plus 1, and that becomes x to the power 3. So then here I write x to the power 3. So my final answer, 12 x to the power 3. Okay. Here, I don't know what it is that I can't assume this one as. I think it should be X. We'll take it as X. I don't know, extremely sorry about it, children. That if you have the printed version with you, that might be another letter, but I guess this as X. So then how we can simplify this? X times X I write closer, and then Y times Y I write closer, and this one is A. So then what happened? X to the power 2, and then y to the power 2, and a, how I'm going to write that x to the power 2, y to the power 2a. But I'm not sure that whether I have taken the correct variables. So sorry about it, that if you have any doubt that you can mention it on the video in the comment section, and you just tell me that what it is, then I will clarify it. If it is another variable you have on your printed version, sorry about it. So then we will move to the next one, x plus 3.8 as a decimal. Again, that we want to do the same thing, Pute. We divide 3 by 8 like this. So then here it is 0, 0. Then for 30, 8 times 3, 24. So then we have 6, so 60, 8 times 7, 56. So then we have 40, 8 times 5, 40. So then that is done, finish. So then this will be then 3 over 8 is equal to 0.375, right? If you have that, so then the 3 you divide by 8, you get the answer 0.375. Then we will move to the next question that give 1.289 correct to two decimal places. First of all, identify what is the second decimal place. So this is the second decimal place. And first thing you want to underline the required decimal place. So then second decimal place should be this. And then you look at the next number and it is 9. So then if it is the next number, if it is 5 or more than 5, you need to add 1. To where you need to add 1? To the underlying number. So then this becomes approximately, because this is not exactly equal to 1.29. Inside the bracket, I write 2dp. This is the correct method of writing that, right? You can't just write 1.289 is equal to 1.29. That doesn't work. So 1.289 approximately equal to 1.29 when I correct it to two decimal places. That is why inside the bracket I show it as 2dp. Right? Then the second part, calculate 5 over 3 giving your answer to correct, giving your answer correct to one decimal place. Before correcting something to first decimal place, we want to get the answer. So then what we should do, that we divide 5 by 3. So then 3 times 1, 3. So then for 20, 3 times 6, 18. So then you have 2 for 26. Again 18. Then we have 26, 18. Again 26. So then what is this? So the answer is 5 over 3. You can write as 1.6666 recurring. So then you want to correct this to the first decimal place. No? So you underline the first decimal place. And then you look at the next number. Whatever it is, maybe a recurring number, maybe just the exact, the decimals you have, it doesn't matter. Here they have asked us to correct the answer to the first decimal place. You want to underline the first decimal place, which I did, that 6 is the first, 6 is in the first decimal place. So then I look at the next number. If the next number 5, or more than 5, we need to add 1 to where we need to add 1 to the underlying number. Therefore, my answer will be, here it gives approximately 1.7, and I write here 1 dp, right? This is how you want to write the answer. Yeah. So then we will move to question number 14. You want to add two decimal numbers. Here, keep that in your mind, children, that you can see the two decimal numbers. They are having the different decimal place. The first one that it has 3.2, one decimal place. Then the second one we have 4.18 like this, right? So then here it's like this. So it is very, very important to write the numbers at the correct place value. Now, if you feel that this place is blank, you can put 0. It is not compulsory, but you can just put the 0. Nothing happened to the value when you put the 0 at the end, and you just add these numbers. So that becomes 8, and here 3, then here 7, 7.38. So then we write the answer 7.38. Okay. Subtract the result from 9. Subtract the result from 9. You write 9 here. And you subtract the results, that is 7.38. And subtract it like this. So then here, that you can't subtract 8 from 0. Then we know that we have to borrow like this. So then 10 minus 8, it is 2. Now here it is 9. 9 minus 3, 6. Now here we don't have 9. Now we have 8. 8 minus 7, 1. So then the answer is 1.62. Right? Then the question number 15, we have 1.8 multiplied by 100. So here it is very easy. When you have a decimal number, the way I'm telling is not the correct theory, but I'm just telling you in a simpler way because you are in grade 6. Then you want to have easy ways to remember things, right? So then if I talk about that the high level math concepts, so it's very difficult for you to understand or absorb the thing. So I'll tell you an easy way to do this. But when you move along with this subject, you learn this is not the way that decimal man is not moving anywhere. I'm telling now, as we have two zeros, the decimal man is moving to the right side 2 steps, but later you realize decimal man is not moving anywhere. Only the place values of the digits will be changing when you multiply or divide him by 10, 100 and 1000. But for the time being, you just keep this in your mind. You have the decimal number and you multiply it by 100. We have two zeros here in 100. Therefore, the decimal man or the decimal point should be moved to right side 2 steps. So then what will be my answer? So 180.0. Earlier it was here 1, 2. Now I have come 2 steps, right? But no point of keeping the 0 like this. Therefore, my answer is just 180. Divide the above result by 1000. Now the results we got 1080 now. Then you are going to divide this by 1000. Now what I'm going to do, Pute, 180 I write with the decimal point, right? That which I had earlier. And I divide by 1000. When you are dividing by 10, 100 or 1000, you want to move to the left side with the decimal man. Again, I'm telling the decimal man is not moving anywhere. For the time being, we just keep this in our mind for easy reference. So then we just move to the left side with the decimal man. How many steps we should go? We should go 3 steps. So then when I move 3 steps, what will be my answer? 0.1800. No point of keeping zeros at the end. Therefore, my answer will be 0.18, right? So then I'm not going to discuss the whole paper in this video because I know it will be a longer one and it is difficult for you to watch this. So then I'm going to finish this. But before that, I just want to go through and see the things which I have done correctly or not. Always, once you are done with the paper, before handing over it to your teacher or that whoever the invigilator you come across in the exam hall today, please go through one more time. And when you are going through it one more time, that you have to have a separate mindset, what it is. You should think so that I'm checking someone else's paper. So if you think that I'm checking my paper, you think, no, everything I have done should be correct. Nothing should be wrong. So then you just go through. But it doesn't work because when we are going through the paper for the second time, we want to identify the mistakes we have done. So for that, you just think that you are checking someone else's paper. So then you are trying to find the faults on that, right? Even though it is not a good thing, finding faults on others, that mindset helps you to check, okay, so then whether this question is correct or correct. So then you just go through like that. Okay, so then the 0.8, write 8 over 10. 2 times 4, 8, 2 times 5, 10, correct. And 4 times 8, 32, and it should be negative. And here it should be 70 degrees corresponding. I can get this from the interior angle method also, but here it is only 1 mark. Then I'm selecting the corresponding angle method. And then the 16 divided by 4, it is 4, but it should be negative. And 4 times a over 3, and the division becomes multiplication. So then we want to get the reciprocal, then 6b comes to the numerator. So then the 4a times 2, 3 times 2b, 2 and 2, yes, the answer is b, right? So then the next one, question number 6, 32, 3 times 2, 6, 3 times 3, 9, 96, but I want to keep 3 decimal places. And here I can see an equilateral triangle. Each angle should be 60. And in the meantime, I can see the 2 parallel lines. And with that parallel lines, I can identify the alternate angles here. Therefore, we should be equal to 60. Right, so then 1 over 3, when I divide, it gives me 0.33333. So then the 3 is repeating or recurring. So then I put the dot on top of 3 and we discuss that a few other examples for the dot notations, but those things will be discussed in grade 8. Therefore, I don't want to worry about these things now. So then the 1 cubic centimeter equal to 1 milliliter, 1000 cubic centimeters equal to 1000 milliliters. 4,000 cubic centimeters will be equal to 4,000 milliliters. Then I just keep it as it is. Then I'm going to check that the relationship between the milliliters and the liters, 1,000 milliliters equal to 1 liter. So that means 4,000 milliliters equal to 4 liters. So I'm going to conclude my answer. Therefore, 4,000 cubic centimeters equal to 4 liters. That is done. So I want to divide 9.3, but when I'm dividing, I just divide 93 by 2. It gives me the answer 46.5. But I can't write that answer as the final answer because if I divide 93 by 2 only, I get 46.5. But here they have not given 93, they have given 9.3. Therefore, I want to consider another decimal place. So my final answer will be 4.65, correct. And here that I'm not sure whether I have done with the correct variables, but still that I just put x if it is x part 1, that I just take 4 and 3 separately, that becomes 12. Then the x to the power 2 and x to the power 1 I take separately. As there is a multiplication and as there are rather the two indices with the same base value, I can add the indices. 2 plus 1, it should be 3, 12, x to the power 3, that is done. And we know that the theory behind this, x to the power 1 is equal to x, a to the power equal to a. So like that. And the second one, I'm not sure whether that the variables I have used correct or wrong. So then the 3 over 8, when you are writing as a decimal, you want to divide 3 by 8. You can see the right side corner, I have shown the decimals. So then the 8 times, yeah. So 8 times 3, 24. And for 60, 8 times 7, 56. And for 40, 8 times 5, the answer should be 0.375. And when you're correcting a number to two decimal places or the second decimal place, it is very important to identify the second decimal place. I underlined it. After underlining, I just check the next number. So then if that next number is 5 or more than 5, I should add 1 to the underlying number. So here the underlying number is 8, therefore that becomes to 9. So then you want to use the approximately equal sign, that you can't use the equal sign because 1.289 is not equal to 1.9. It is approximately equal to 1.29, and 1.29 when you correct it to two decimal places. That is why inside the bracket I just write it is equal. It is corrected to the two decimal places. So then the next one, 5/3, they have given, I divided and got the decimal value. It is 1.66666 recurring. And this answer I want to correct to one decimal place. So then I underline the first decimal place. Look at the next number. If that next number is 5 or more than 5, definitely we need to add 1. Where we need to add 1 to the underlying number. Therefore, that becomes 1.7, approximately equal to 1.7. And inside the bracket, I want to say that we'll get this answer 1.7 if I correct it to the first decimal place. Otherwise, that it is not equal to 1.7. So then the next one that I want to just add these two numbers, 3.2 and 4.18. So then it gives me 7.38, and this is very important to write all the digits at the correct decimal place and keep the decimal point in order. So then if you come across with a blank, you can put a 0. It is not compulsory. If you feel, you can keep it. So once you get the answer 7.38, you want to subtract that results from 9. So then we have done the subtraction. 6, then the 1.62. So then the last question we discussed in this one, 1.8, we multiply by 100. We want to move 2 steps to the right side. So then 2 steps in the sense 180. That answer I want to divide by 1000. So what I do, 180, I just write it again with the decimal places because it's easier for me to move the decimals. So 180.0, I want to move 3 steps to the left side now. So when I move 3 steps to the left side, now my answer will be 0.1800, but no point of keeping zeros at the end in a decimal number. Nothing changed with the value, therefore I just write 0.18. Yes, I just went through the paper one more time. You just see that maybe 5 minutes, but it is worth to spend that 5 minutes. Okay, children, so then we'll meet again with the next video to discuss the remaining questions. This is July 2024, grade 6 past paper part 1, and there will be maybe 2 to 3 videos because I don't want to have the longer version. I just want to have the shorter one, so then you can learn a lot. So then when I'm discussing like this, okay children, keep in touch that we can join again with the second part of the video, July 2024, grade 6 past paper.